Okay. So, back at it. At home, still, working out. Our first day was our day one, our upper body push-pull day. And sticking to the philosophy of rep, which to me is a really important mission, which is to teach people the skills to be able to work out for life and know how to work out and why they're working out and what outcomes they're trying to achieve with working out, so they know how to get them. So our day two lower body day, we've picked 3 different, outcomes that you would like to maybe get with working out. And we're going to teach you how you would focus on those in order to achieve that. So let's say you're all excited, you're going to work out today, and you're like, wow, I hope this guy talks about muscular endurance because I'm an endurance athlete. Well, you're lucky. So if we wanted to do these same drills and we wanted to focus on endurance, we would do something called isometrics, which would mean we're going to hold within a plane in that exercise for a duration of time. So our reps are now time-based. So let's say you're going to hold the movement for 20 to 40 seconds. Our rest is now dependent on fitness level, but you could generally say between 60 to 90 seconds. And our sets, again, are kind of dependent on fitness level, are going to be between 3 and 4 sets. And how we control the development of this is either we increase the time each time you do the workout, or you decrease the rest. You would only want to hold a movement as long as you can with perfect form. You don't want to teach your body how to do anything wrong ever. So hold that as long as you can, perfect form, take your rest, and repeat. So you're like, well, I'm not really a muscular endurance person. I actually do a lot of power sports. It's like, okay, perfect. If you do a lot of power sports, then you can do these at-home workouts and you can apply a plyometric to them. And plyometric basically just means that you're applying an explosive action to the movement. So you might jump, you might react quickly in some way. Now, because you're looking at getting power, that means that you need rest. So how you moderate this way is you would go with a lower amount of reps, let's say 2 to 5. You would go with a higher amount of rest, let's say 1 to even maybe 5 minutes, and you would increase the set volume a little bit because you're not doing a lot of work. So let's say 4 to 6 sets. And how you moderate these reps is when you're focusing on power, you can only do reps that you're doing at 100% effort. As soon as you feel like you're fatigued, then you need to stop because you're just slipping out of that power window. And that's how you do these at home if you're focusing on power. You're like, well, not really a power person. I'm not really a muscular endurance person. Don't think I want that type of pain. So you're like, but I just really like training to stay toned. So the trick to toning is basically having a high amount of volume. So we're controlling that with our reps, right? So we're going to do maybe 15 to 20 reps. Now again, this is dependent on fitness level. It can be more, it can be less, it doesn't matter. The rest range is going to be generally around a minute to 90 seconds. Again, it can go up and down depending on fitness level. And sets, same. 3, maybe 4, maybe 2. It's up to you. And how you control this is by the intensity factor. So you are only doing reps as long as you can with perfect form, and you want to stop when you know that you could do 2 or 3 more reps absolutely perfectly. And that's how you keep your volumes high and your intensity low. So now we teach you the 4 exercises. Okay, so now to the 4 exercises. So first we're going to start with an air squat with muscular endurance focus, so that's doing an isometric. So you're just going to set your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to drop down to about 90 degrees, or as far down as you can go, keeping your spine neutral and your knees out over top of your feet, and your knees not tracking too far forwards. And you're just going to hold that as long as you can, and then come out of it, take your rest time, and repeat. If you want to work on power, then you got to add a plyometric action to an air squat, which would be basically like jumping. So you're just going to jump down and do a squat, explode up as high as you can, explode up as high as you can, explode up as high as you can. Perfect. And remember with these, you want to make sure that you're only doing reps that essentially you can do at full intensity. And then the last way to look at doing an air squat is for toning, which would be just going through a simple range of motion of squatting. Go ahead. You know, focusing on control, focusing on tempo, you know, doing perfect form, away you go. So the next exercise we have is a lunge. So I'll just have you step forward into a simple lunge. So this is just essentially doing a lunge in an isometric. So going into that perfect position, locking yourself in place, making sure your hips are locked in place nice and tight, your shoulders are back, your chest is up. You're just going to hold there, you know, as long as you can, and then you just switch and do the same thing on the other leg. If we wanted to take the same drill, a lunge, and we wanted to do power, we would add a plyometric action to it. So that's jumping. So we're just going to step into the lunge, you know, and then you're just going to repetitively jump like you would the air squat. Go ahead. Right away, right out of the bottom, right out of the bottom. There we go. Perfect. And then you would do however many reps on that side, let's say 5, you know, take a break, make sure your heart rate's down, and repeat the other way. If you want to do lunges just for toning, then you would just step into a standard lunge, push back, and alternate legs. Go ahead. So just step out, push back, alternate legs. Perfect. Form's good. We're golden. So then the third drill we have is a single leg hip extension. So I'll just have you on the floor in a hip extension. So this is a double leg hip extension. So a single leg hip extension, just one of these legs is isolated out like that. If we're going to do it as an isometric, we're just going to hold, right? Hips nice and high, focus on pushing through the middle of this foot, activating your glute. Okay, rest for a second. If we're going to do it as a plyometric, that means we need to apply some type of jump or huge force, right? So we're going to do it as a plyometric, and we're just going to essentially do like a jumping action from this position. So starting from the floor, explode up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Making sure to always land, you know, nice and solid, core contracted. If we're going to do it just for toning, then we would just do reps, right? So single leg hip extension for reps. Concentrating on contracting and squeezing, you know, looking at getting a high volume, so high reps, low intensity, making sure you're stopping before you're really fatigued. And our last exercise is a hamstring walkout. So this one's pretty tough to do. Essentially, just on all, this is a tough exercise. But you're just going to do a double leg hip extension up. And then you're going to walk your feet out as far as you can without your hips touching the floor. So I'm going to put my hands underneath his hip. He's going to walk out as far as he can. Try to get his legs locked out straight. Good. And then he's going to walk all the way back. Perfect. So now, if you're going to do this drill in an isometric, you need to do it like fully extended so you get your hamstrings really engaged. So you would hip extension up, you know, walk out to that fully extended piece, and then hold there, you know, essentially as long as you can. Now, if we're going to do this in a plyometric way, we're going to start here. You're going to hip extension up. You're going to push the hips up and snap the legs out and catch just before the hips touch the ground. Go ahead. Good. And then we're going to snap the hips up, snap the legs back in. Perfect. And if we were going to do this exercise just for toning, it would just be hips up, walking back and forth, doing as many reps as you can with good form. Yep. Perfect. And that's our lower body day. So we'll see you guys when we do our full body workout next time.